Hi, welcome to this video. This video is a time lapse of a canvas painting of mine. This is that kind of painting that takes you forever to create, but it holds a special place in your heart at the end of the day. The initial idea behind this painting was a story-driven one. I didn't want this painting to be just about aesthetic or about beauty, which I definitely think it has its own aesthetic, but it's not the main idea that's kind of like holding it together. So the idea was that this character that I'm painting right now is a princess, and she is holding a letter in her hand. And there's something in the letter that distresses her, something that makes her really like pause and kind of like think about her life, question her own existence in a way. And my take on this is that there's something in the letter that tells her that somebody is about to betray her, or somebody already betrayed her, or she has to run away, or basically there is a sense of an adventure beginning very soon. I wanted her to be in a historical looking setting, although I did not have a particular era in mind. So the process before I even begin painting on the canvas consists of a few steps. So the first step is that I drew a detailed sketch on a larger piece of paper. And once I had that done, I then did a notan. Basically, a notan is a really tiny drawing that is a value composition of that painting. So we could say that the sketch that I drew for this painting, the first sketch with all the details and everything, was already kind of like a composition. Of course, it had its own composition, but I was not thinking about the values or the colors yet in that sketch. So by doing the notan and focusing on the tonal values, I'm beginning to incorporate values into the composition too, which is really important because you could have a great composition in a sketch, but if your values are off, it's really just gonna ruin everything. Once I had the value notan done and picked, because I always do more than one to experiment with where I could take the image, then I do another notan, but this time with the focus on color. I really block in like the essential and biggest shapes. It's basically the same as with a value notan. I don't focus on details at all. It's not about that. I just want to map out where will the colors be placed on the color wheel so that I can have an idea how it will look like or what kind of a feel will it have color-wise at the end of the day. The process of the painting itself begins with me painting the sketch on the canvas. This time I do not draw like the details or anything on the canvas. I'm basically painting shapes, and I measure everything very carefully so that everything really is placed the way that I planned it out in the sketch. It depends on how much do you want the final image to resemble the first sketch. Sometimes you will want it to be exactly the same, sometimes it's a very rough sketch. Once I had that done, then I moved on to the color block-ins, which for me are usually a combination of flat color bases with already some colors from the notan compositions, because I kind of like to see value-wise where the image is going in the very beginning. I don't like to like have all the colors to have a very similar / the same value. It freaks me out personally. I don't like it. So the goal of this painting for me was to capture the contrast of the candlelight with the blues coming out of the background, like from a window behind her. It could also be just the cold environment that she's in, and the candlelight is pretty much the only source of light for her. So I wanted really to play with the contrast of the oranges with the creamy blues. You can see me going back into areas a lot and correcting a lot of things and like adjusting things, especially with the face. I already painted it once, but I didn't like it at all because it didn't look anything like the sketch, and also color-wise I really didn't like it, so I had to go back in and redo the whole thing. I was basically dealing with having to handle color and structure of the face and also capturing her likeness at the same time, so it was really a challenge, but I think I made it out alive, so I definitely had the most fun with the details in the light areas, especially with the tiny hairs on her head, or like the hair in general, and I also really love the blue light on her dress. I really like the creaminess of it, the softness of it. I really liked painting it, and I also like looking at it, so I feel really proud about that part. And here is the finished piece. I hope that you like it. If you do, definitely consider liking this video and subscribing to see more videos like this one. And see you later.